The Gospel Story and the First 5 Initiations. Alice Bailey, in her writings telepathically transmitted to her by the Tibetan master Djwhal Khul, presents a system of spiritual initiations that correspond to the Gospel story of Christ's life. These 5 initiations mark significant stages of soul development and the unfoldment of spiritual consciousness. According to the Ageless Wisdom Teachings, this 5-stage process is something all human beings have to go through at some point in their many incarnations on Earth until they have learned mastery over the 3 lower worlds, the mental plane, astral plane, and etheric plane. The first initiation, the birth of Christ. The first initiation, also known as the birth of Christ, signifies the awakening of the Christ consciousness within the aspirant. In the Gospel narrative, this corresponds to the birth of Jesus in Bethlehem, symbolizing the soul's emergence from material consciousness into spiritual awareness. At this stage, the disciple begins to exercise control over the physical body, demonstrating purity and right living. At this initiation, a line of soul light connects the pineal gland and the pituitary body, and the light in the head begins to grow from a mere pinprick to begin with. It is the birth of the Christ child in the cave in the center of the brain, where the pituitary body and pineal glands are found, and where the soul is anchored in the body. The soul is anchored in the center of the head, and the spirit or life thread is anchored in the heart. The second initiation, the baptism in Jordan. The second initiation represents purification and mastery over the emotional body, corresponding to Christ's baptism by John in the river Jordan. Just as Jesus is baptized and affirmed as the beloved Son, the initiate experiences a deeper alignment with the soul, purging lower desires and achieving emotional stability. This stage requires facing and overcoming the fluctuations of personal emotions, desires, and astral influences. There are quite a few incarnations between the first and second initiations, averaging around 7 lives, but can be significantly shorter or longer depending on the soul ray of the individual and the opportunities available. The third initiation, the Transfiguration. This initiation marks the full expression of the soul through the personality and corresponds to Christ's transfiguration on the Mount before Peter, James, and John. Here the initiate has achieved mental illumination, symbolized by Christ's radiant form. The lower and higher selves merge, and the individual exhibits true soul consciousness. This stage represents mastery over the mental body and freedom from the slavery of ideas, and freedom from illusion on the mental plane. Usually only one more incarnation in a human body is necessary once this initiation has been taken. Interestingly, a 3rd-degree initiate has the key to perfect health but may choose not to use it, so he can identify with suffering humanity. The whole of the personality is flooded with light at the 3rd initiation. The 4th initiation, the Crucifixion. Also called the Great Renunciation, the 4th initiation corresponds to Christ's crucifixion, where he relinquishes his earthly identity, declaring, "Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit." This stage signifies the complete surrender of the lower self, a willingness to undergo immense suffering and sacrifice for the greater good. The initiate renounces all attachments to form, personal identity, and even the soul itself, leading to liberation from karma and entry into a higher state. The heart chakra is fully awakened at the 4th initiation. At this initiation, the initiate has a choice of whether to preserve their physical body in the form the initiation is taken in, or to create a new form more appropriate to the work he is doing in the world. The initiate has mastered death at this initiation, and does not have to incarnate in a human body again if they choose not to. The 5th initiation, the Resurrection. The 5th initiation corresponds to Christ's resurrection, symbolizing the full realization of divine consciousness and mastery over matter. At this stage, the initiate attains complete liberation and becomes a master of the wisdom. Having transcended the limitations of form, the resurrected initiate serves humanity with pure spiritual power and wisdom, much like the risen Christ appearing to his disciples, guiding them toward the path of enlightenment. Bailey's initiation system aligns with the life of Christ to illustrate the archetypal spiritual journey undertaken by all aspirants. Each initiation represents a progressive expansion of consciousness and the gradual embodiment of divine qualities, culminating in complete unity with the divine will. These stages provide a roadmap for disciples on the path to enlightenment, offering insight into the soul's ultimate purpose, realization of divinity and selfless service to humanity, the spiritual plan and spiritual purpose set out by the spiritual hierarchy and Shambhala. There are actually 9 planetary initiations that can be taken on planet Earth, but the critical one is the 4th initiation, also known as the crucifixion. Once the 3rd has been taken, the 4th and 5th initiations usually take place in the same life or the following. At the 6th initiation, called the decision, the Master decides which cosmic path to take. Currently, due to the imminent reappearance of the Christ and the externalization of the hierarchy, initiates make their decision but remain on Earth to aid in the externalization of the hierarchy and the reappearance of the Christ. It's all hands on deck for the reappearance. It's important to understand that the Christ is not God, but a high-degree initiate, an individual who is still taking the 7th initiation, but he is a perfected human being and the head of the spiritual hierarchy on this planet.